right, so welcome to another EFT Business Spotlight, where we highlight the work of EFT practitioners around the world. And today we are lucky enough to have Carly Weiss with us, who is a women's empowerment coach and certified EFT practitioner. Hi, Carly.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. Finally, it's been a time coming.
Oh, it's great.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
So tell us how you found EFT. What was your origin story? How did you stumble upon this technique?
Yeah, EFT was actually a seed that was planted by my husband's father when he was staying at our house, and he was just talking about this technique and how it really works. And I was kind of like, okay, yeah, like didn't think too much of it. And then maybe a year later, it just started showing up in my space. So every podcast I was listening to, like, it was just popping up, and I remembered. And so I naturally went on YouTube and was just like, what is this thing? Watched a video. And then funny enough, I went into our like home library and like in our actual house, and we had the EFT manual. And we had the tapping solution. And I was like, wow, where did this come? Yeah, where did this come from? So I immediately started reading the EFT manual and then the tapping solution and practicing on myself. And then when I started seeing big shifts, like within a month of doing it, and I really saw it around my career and money, I was like, oh my God, I need to get certified, because I've been doing personal development since I was 21, and I'm going to be 35 this year. And never have I found a tool that it was like so quick for me and easy for me. And I had tried meditation, I tried TM, and that didn't go too well. And so the fact that it was something that it was like a movement that I could do and speak at the same time and experience relief so quickly, I was like, this is my tool. And so then I started researching certification programs.
I love that. I love how EFT shows up for a person, and however it does when it's ready. And especially when like the serendipity start happening, like how, like my father-in-law dropped it, it was a seed, and then I had it in my house, like what? And I love that about EFT. It shows up often magically and serendipitously like that for people. So that's perfect.
So how did you decide that you wanted to work with women, and especially around issues of self-confidence? Tell us more about the women that you attract in your practice.
Women came naturally because it was something that I wish I had this tool, honestly, when I was younger, because that's such a hard age, like in your teens and early 20s, where I struggled so much with my emotions specifically. Like backstory, I also have psoriasis. And so that I didn't even know I had until I was like 18, when I broke out in flares. And it wasn't until I was able to control my emotions that I've been able to keep it at bay. So I knew I wanted to work with women, and it's been a journey figuring out or understanding that the self-confidence, self-esteem, self-expression part. And of course, I know you guys have said it so many times, like once it hits, you're like, oh my God, yes, like, of course, this is it. And so when I was looking back at all of my like case studies and people that I was working with, I was trying to really find the underlying theme. And so self-esteem, self-confidence, and self-expression came up. And then I was just exploring my own journey. And of course, that makes sense that it was self-confidence and self-esteem and self-expression, because I'm an empath, I'm a people pleaser, I'm a freelancer, I'm an artist, I'm a painter. Like, being able to self-express myself, or self-express unapologetically, has been such a journey for me, especially when it feels like it's not safe. So being able to break through those barriers and feel comfortable, you know, saying my prices, or saying no to somebody when I just need time for myself. Self-care is a big part, I believe, that comes in with self-esteem and self-confidence, because being able to put ourselves first when we're so trained to put others before ourselves. And, you know, just that passion part, the passion being able to say even out loud, like, this is what I want to do, even for myself when it comes to self-expression and, again, confidence.
I think so many people, not just women,
Right.
are going to be listening to you right now and identifying so and resonating so much with exactly what you're saying, because in our society, the ability to just, this is who I am. This is what my skills are. This is what I want. This is what I need to do right now for myself. You know, is not a skill that's taught for most children growing up, and most adults are you know, are just challenged by those simple things. So your ability to be able to help them, and having overcome so many of those, and knowing what that's like to not be able to do that easily, but knowing what it took to be able to move in the direction of doing that, so critical and important a need. Thank you so much for doing that.
Yeah.
What might be the sort of the catalyst for someone coming in to see you? What might be like the, I gotta figure out like what I'm gonna do with this. Oh, there's this woman, she can help me. But like, what do you see as like a common theme that they're like at the breaking point where they really need to work with you on?
Yeah, they're either already just unhappy in their career. Like they are stuck there in the motions. They know deep down that they have something else that they want to do, but they've either tried and stopped themselves before they could launch, or they haven't even, they've very silently admitted to themselves that there's something else that they want and haven't been able to really stand for it. And then also putting others before themselves, that people pleasing portion, you know, that happens in work and relationships. So definitely work relationships, they've lost themselves and they don't even have any form of self-care routine, whether it be just like stepping aside for 5 minutes and breathing. I would say those are the big ones, like losing that sense of self and putting so many people before themselves, and not being able to, just unhappy with where they currently are at in their career. And they know that deep down there's something else that they're meant to do. They just don't know what that next step is.
It's so well said.
Yeah. And if you're lacking the confidence, or you're feeling unable to state what it is that you want, or to carve out time for yourself, that absolutely could be very detrimental to you moving forward. I love that. I love that that's your, that is your focus.
Thank you. I am too.
So
the light bulb went off.
It shows.
Yeah. So in your life, what, like, give us an example of what you've seen, like from when you started tapping to now.
Oh boy, so much. Well, again, when I started tapping, so past life / kind of current life, I'm a freelance makeup and hair artist. And when I started tapping, I saw my money double within like a month.
Wow.
And
Wow,
it was crazy to me.
Yeah.
And then also just being able to confidently say, like, practice upping my prices. And being okay with, like, if they say no, it's going to be okay. And as a freelancer, that is really hard to play around with money and play around with your pricing, especially if somebody is like, this is the rate for the day. And you come back and challenge it and say, well, this is what I want, or, you know, can we meet somewhere in the middle? And not being afraid that if they say no, you're actually okay with it.
Yeah.
I was coaching a client the other day, and they sent me a job inquiry, and it's so easy in the industry for them to use big names but give you the smallest rate, because it's like, you're going for the name, you're going for like the crew that you're going to be with. And I just remember being in those positions, and it's like, that's the choice where you get to put yourself first and be like, I've paid my dues. Like, that's
Yes.
nice, but I want to make the money instead.
Yeah. That's
Um,
great.
so that was a big component of what I saw, as well as the consistency, like just jobs coming in that I was not afraid of where the next job was going to be.
Excellent.
And COVID was a huge test of that, because all of a sudden the jobs disappeared. And I was like, okay, if I really believe in tapping, like, this is the perfect opportunity for me to use the skill and prove to myself at the end of this that this works.
Yeah.
And, you know, I did so well during that time. I only made $10,000 less than the year before, which as a freelancer during a pandemic is crazy. And in my personal life, just being able to really create my own routine and communicate with my partner what I need. It was very easy as a people pleaser to just have somebody else pick for me. But in the end, like, whatever they picked is never what I wanted. And then I get resentful and angry. And so
Yeah.
being able to communicate more with my partner, and also, again, being an empath and just sharing with him, like, when I'm experiencing really intense emotions, and having the tool. It just happened yesterday, you know, with the holiday and not knowing how to feel about the holiday. I was able to be like, okay, I just need to go in my room and be by myself and tap out my feelings so that I can then actually come back and have a nice day with you.
Yeah.
Because right now, like, I'm not in that place. And everything you're suggesting, like, all your suggestions is making me angry. So
I love that. You know, I love what you're expressing and showing people right now. Is it's not about getting it right and getting it perfect so you don't have bad days. It's not like you never have fear. It's not like you're not challenged by different situations, but using EFT as a tool for being able to self-care and do what you need to with your own emotional well-being, and then be able to move forward with the freedom to have choices and options
And conversations.
I think you're just really exemplifying what so many people are wanting and needing, and walking your talk with it, in addition to helping other people, and the authenticity to be open as well as, you know, what you're sharing, and not saying I've got it all down and perfect. I'm
Absolutely.
not. But I have a tool that I can share with you that you can use now in your life. So thank you so much.
Yeah, well, I'm thankful for the tool.
So Carly, do you work one-on-one? Do you work in groups? You have like you had a class that you developed. So tell us about how people can work with you in different ways.
Yeah, I'm doing one-on-ones, and I am also currently doing one-on-ones and working to creating more groups. Of course, the last group I decided to do, I ended up getting COVID. So I had to reschedule that, but that will be up. Once I have the date set, it will be something up on my website that somebody can just go to and join. But right now, one-on-ones with a plan to branch out into being able to do more groups with women.
And one-on-ones in person, over Zoom. How do you work?
All over Zoom.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Great. I mean, it's worldwide. That's fabulous.
And how can people find you? What's your website?
CarlyWise.com, and Instagram is at CarlyLynnWise.
Okay.
Excellent.
Great. We'll have that information.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Oh, it was great spending time with you today. Thank you.
Same. Thank you.